Can you see? Three people watching now.
That's me.
You're one.
I made that.
You're one.
I was like 12 or so.
It's your YouTube.
Yeah, that's my YouTube channel.
So basically, we did a lot of analysis on the challenge in regards to your question. Something that we thought was really interesting was to look at sort of bio upcycling, and the team that was working with that sort of very quickly went from materials into sort of biomimicry, looking at trees, and we decided to work with something that resembled a tree. There were a lot of sketches going on, and we ended up in a final project that I'm going to let one of the groups present. So, do you want to present it? No? Hampus.
No way.
No way. You see, as you can see, they're very shy, the team.
There's no one watching.
There's no one watching.
0 watches.
Who's going to go? Come on.
I haven't really been listening to what you guys have been talking about.
Okay. The team were really interested in sort of the dualism of this oil rig. So Norway has based its wealth on oil. You can see some kind of tree shape, but it's on sort of the antithesis of nature. It's sort of this strange sculptural structure that sort of sucks oil out of the ground and turns it into carbon dioxide. It's a bit like the contradiction in Oslo. At the same time, there's a lot of interesting sculpture elements with this. So the team spent some time. For example, we can see what if we would crossbreed the rig with nature, like you see with MBRDV. They did a pavilion where they actually built this, where they took the different landscapes in Holland and made it into a tall building. Something that the whole team was really excited about was the interaction, sort of nature doing something spectacular, like a geyser, like the picture you can see on the right there. So if we see those two pictures here, we're sort of trying to work with this sort of dystopian thing and the beauty of nature, and somehow nature taking back its sort of taking back the city. So what the final result you can see on the table here. It's a sort of very sculpture oil rig. Safe haven for nature when no people are allowed to go. It's like the mining city there. No one is allowed to go there, and sort of nature is taking back what has been taken from it, like Chernobyl, for example. So we think this could work quite well in the harbor of Oslo. So that is basically the concept. Have I missed anything, team? Because you've been working so hard and it's been quite stressful. And there's a lot of ideas in the room. Is there anything you want to add?
You got it covered.
I got it covered. So what do you say, Mr. Mayor? It's a brilliant project. It's a brilliant project. We want it. And the graphic design. Yeah, we're really excited about this. I think there's a lot of this sort of sums it up. There's quite hard shapes, so city inspired, and here you can see that it works sort of in symbiosis with nature. So we're ready to fly over to Oslo next Friday, if it's okay. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay, bye. Okay, nu får ni give us a round of applause. What I want to say to sort of, now we have 50 minutes. I thought that perhaps we would spend some time really focusing on materials in regards to this, but there's no time to that. But the next step would really be to break it down with, how can we build this? what kind of materials, what kind of production techniques can we use to achieve this. As you understand, there's going to be so much research before you can actually do a thing like this. If we look back at what we have done during the day, we started off with analysis. I split up the group, and I was very eager to do that, so you didn't get stuck in sort of holding each other's hand, sitting beside each other at the computer. Then getting the group back to charge each other up with the findings. Then we went into the sketch phase. This is not realistic at all to sketch this fast, because you would have much more time to do that. But the analysis phase, we are 8 people. If everybody spends an hour, that's 8 hours research. That's, often you spend roughly that amount of time, or perhaps 2 or 3 times that amount of time, but it's not loads and loads and loads and loads of hours of research. Mostly, often you do it over time. What I thought was interesting, and I wanted to point out that you can find so much really quickly and get sort of a grasp of the challenge. And we introduced sort of some kind of IT support. There was some hassle in the beginning, but it only took 20 minutes, and then we were up and running, and we got some sort of means to present towards our target audience, and it looks quite professional. You heard that I was quite, it's important to get that sketch model looking okay, because if it looks like not so good, that's going to reflect on the experience on the viewer. So it's like when you do the presentation, make sure that you are credible and that you know what you're talking about. Also, which we didn't present, you did a 3D model, which I'm really impressed by. You did it so quickly. It's on the computer. I think we should pin it. So if you make a report or something out of this, you have that. Also, there was Mo did a really like a 3D model. So we've been working with the physical world, with philosophy, with nature, and I'm really impressed. You went really far during those sort of 9 to 3 time span. Yeah. So, what do you guys think about the workshop? I'm curious. Any reflections from the group?
Got pretty stressful there at the end.
Yeah.
It's been nice to see like how you work in this manner also, and also in relation to the lecture you had yesterday, to see this kind of work and how you could work in the scale and with the different steps, because I feel at least that's what I'm lacking, working maybe a bit more artistic, but still not artistic, but you know what I mean. But yeah, the presentation and breaking down part is really good.
Anyone else? And this is exactly how we do it. We break down the problem into certain fields, and then we pin. So we don't use pin for what other people have done. But it could be reports, it could be research, it could be a lot of things. And what happens if you start using building knowledge is that I can reuse it in other projects really quickly. So if I want to do another project and I've been working on textiles, then I can take that, and that saves me a lot of time. Also, we were working with Mentimeter, if you remember. Trying to get, instead of someone being really dominant, everyone voted. There was also a way to, get the ideas out and get the group to move forward. And it's also something that, this thing you can do on your own, but you can also use when you're presenting stuff, or you're trying to understand what are they saying, the client, or the one that has the assignment. Like, this was a really short mail. I would do a lot of digging more before I would jump into to making something. I would be like, yeah, let's do a workshop with them together, for example, so that you understand what are they really looking for. And that often you try to kidnap the client. And if you have someone who's like if you have a group of people, someone is really like, try to kidnap that person, try to win that person to, yeah. What else is there? yeah, so we got to play with Pinterest. We got to play with some, and quite quickly you made a model.
But did you skip the water in the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the last bit, yeah.
But why? Because if you have trees there, they need water and not salt water if you don't have very
No,
special.
we didn't skip the water.
Yeah,
No, this
but
is the water.
yeah,
Oh, the
yeah, but
water
that's
aspect in
water.
the.
Like
Yeah.
The water aspect in
It
the.
blows out a vapor cloud of water.
Yeah, but
And
but
that
if
goes
it no, but you need
that's
water
the- yeah.
for the plants,
Yeah.
so you need to
But,
collect
I mean,
But it will
water.
rain.
Isn't there a lot of rain in Norway? Yeah.
Yeah, but I think you need to collect the water on the whole area. Then
It's
you.
going to have trees at the beginning.
I think it ended up being a hybrid between ideas.
Mhm.
I mean, now it's an abstract representation of the oil rig turning into something that uses.
Yeah, I think it's more,
It's more like a sculpture, which is still coherent.
and that's a nice discussion with like constructions that are not used anymore, or like
Mm.
what that would become after it's had the purpose of being an oil rig. What we-
That could be a really interesting art project to take a rundown building in Oslo
Yeah.
and just put a fence around it,
Yeah.
or where people can't go, and just let nature take over.
Yeah.
That could be quite beautiful. So I mean, we would need a couple of more days to think about it, and now we were only in the conscious mind. If I would do this longer, I would let you log out so that your stomach brain gets to work on this. Because when you sleep tonight, you will see you will get a lot of ideas in relationship to this, or feelings around this. I like it. I just imagine if they would dare to build a thing like this, to take the oil rigs that has made all the money from them and then, do this. It would be quite nice, I think.
We're saying for all migrating birds.
Yeah.
Give them a pit stop.
And a lot of people would have got pissed off, I think, because it's a bit of a taboo subject in Norway. And I know that I pushed you so you were a bit stressed, but that was also interesting to see how you work under tension.
It's nice and fast-paced, I think. Especially teamwork, where it was equal. I think that's a really precious thing to learn. That was good. I like that. Read it. What's good? Yeah.
And like I said when we were going to that, I personally hate workshops. I become like you, no, I can't, because I get really stressed and I really need to think. So when you have that feeling inside of you, like, that's how I feel a lot of. So I have to log out. But I think we came quite far.
How, the one that turns it into diamonds, how long did that project take? How many years?
I don't know. I have no clue.
2013, I think is when you started it. I'm not sure when you finished it.
No.
3 years back.
But it's what I think is really interesting is that, it's like making a film, and you have the critics who say that the film was really bad or really good. They are only the critics, but behind a film or a building or a project, there's so much negotiation, preparation, things like that. So if you want to be a good designer or artist or whatever, creating things is one thing, but to get really good at presenting and negotiation and building that thing in that person's head is going to make it easier for you. Yeah.
Can I ask one thing about the lecture? I was just wondering, I guess projects and materials that are developed for as a sustainable material, they think about the growing leather and stuff like that. I guess it's not a huge production team working on that, but still it goes on for a few years, or a pretty long time. I wonder what they produce like a sustainable material, but what are the environmental impact in the sort of design process? Because like now we just we take scraps, but we still use a lot of material to build something
That's
or to just get an idea. But we basically waste it because what's going to happen with this afterwards or whatever.
It's a very, very good point, and it's so hard. You know, I have friends who are environmental strategists that drive, you know, really, you know, bad cars. So I think it's a contradiction in ourselves, and it's very good, you know, that you point out that how, you know, I worked with I think I said I worked with the opera, and they were also like everything we do, all the things, you know, it has an environmental impact. So it's on so many levels that we have to find ways, and I think it's try to avoid so it feels like you're it's overwhelming. That's what I'm trying to. My wife tells me, like, Anders, you go around talking about things like this, yet and I do something bad.
Yeah. Always.
Oh. But this is very much like we wanted to make an icon that becomes a symbol of something that makes, you know, people shift their thinking. If this would have happened, I think it would have raised a lot of media attention. And so we are sort of this network, this sort of huge Gaia thing, so that inspires others, hopefully. Now I've been speaking so much, and I'm tired of hearing my own voice, and I guess you're quite tired of me as well. So it's 7 to 3, and I'll be leaving at 3. I have to say it's been really nice to be here, and I think that it's been a really nice group to work with. And you know where to find me if you have any questions.
Where?
On the internet.
In the world.
In the spirit world.
But the address is on Google.
I could quote my teacher, Henning Eklund at HDK, said that the Celts, they had a saying that the most important thing, the traces you leave in the spirit world is more important than the traces you leave in the real world. And I really like that. So that's my last hallelujah sentence. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Should we turn this off now?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it has been streaming.
Yeah.
Is it streaming?
I
No.
don't think so. I tried to look at it on YouTube, I didn't saw it.
Vad gillar ni själva med den här? Alltså rent formmässigt? Oh, sorry. Yeah. What do you like yourself with the form? What are the good things and what are the bad things?
Balance is nice.
I like the colors.
The colors?
Yeah.
Yeah, I also like the colors.
The simplicity of there's no complication,
Yeah.
no very much details, it's just simple cubes.
Is it something that you don't like? Any sort of parts that you don't like? Perfect.
Perfect.
I would be interested to see if you take away some of the things to reduce it. You try to sort of find what's the minimum to get the maximum effect. It feels like it's a bit overworked, but that could be also interesting.